Alright guys, we are back, and I believe we're heading back into Hightown here. We got some things and quests to pick up.
I can't make you a guard, Carver.
We were both soldiers. Why won't they take me?
I was an officer, and I follow orders.
No, you don't.
I also think of others before myself. You seem tired of that, and that's dangerous.
Just when it's not my choice. You told them not to take me, didn't you?
Yes.
Well, it's not like that's... Come on. Okay. Oh, we need to flap these down. Because we probably will need this. Oh!
They'll let anyone into Hightown these days.
Don't be snarky. Don't be snarky. Alright. We will go over here. See if we got anything to do. I think there's a cutscene here.
Have you seen a dog? Small, with a blue bow about her neck.
I have not.
Sebastian! Stop this madness! The Chantry cannot condone revenge, Sebastian!
It is my right, my duty, to show these assassins there is nowhere in the Free Marches to hide.
This is murder!
No. What happened to my family was murder.
Well. Nice little cutscene there. What do I have? That's better. Thank you. Duty. A great crime was committed against all free-thinking men and women in the Free Marches. The ruling Vale family in Starkhaven, my family, was brutally murdered, down by the youngest babe in arms. The massacre was carried out by the members of the Flint Mercenary Company. I hereby offer a bounty on their head of the each company soldier in Kirkwall vicinity, Prince Sebastian Vale.
And Andraste did say, those who harm a house of the Maker have done harm unto the Maker himself.
Grumbles, grumbles, grumbles.
A lot of candles for the dead in there. Seems like a waste of wax.
I kind of agree with you this time, Carver. But many will have certain fates that involve different things. Into the Chantry we go. Because this is exactly what an apostate needs.
Been in the guard. What will they think of next?
You have a problem with that?
Me? My family's not native either. I'm just surprised. A lot of old prejudice in the guard.
I'll give them plenty of reason to change their minds.
You know, it's possible they're just scared shitless of you. That's my theory, anyway.
I think that's a very good theory, Barrick. Alright. The commandments of the Maker. The truths the Maker has revealed to me, as there is one world, one life, one death. There is but one God, and He is our Maker. They are sinners who have given their love to a false gods. Magic exists to serve man and never to rule over him. Foul and corrupted they are they who have taken his gift and turned it against his children. They should be named Maleficar, accursed ones. They shall find no rest in this world or beyond. All men are the works of our Maker's hand, from the lowest slave to the highest king. Those who bring harm without provocation to the least of his children are hated and accused by the Maker. Those who bear false witness and work to deceive others know this. There is one truth, all things known to our Maker, and he shall judge their lies. All things in this world are infinite. What one man gains, another has loss. Those who steal from their brothers and sisters do harm to their livelihood and to the peace of mind. Our Maker sees this with a heavy heart. Transfigurations 1:1-5. Okay. Okay. Good. I don't think there's anything behind this door here. No, okay.
The first Maker's children watched across the veil and grew jealous of the life they could not feel, could not...
much. Andraste, the bride of the Maker. There was once a tiny fish village upon the waking sea that set upon by the Devinter Imperium, which enslaved the villagers to sold into the markets of Minrathus, leaving behind only the old and the infirm. One captives was the child Andraste. She was raised into slavery in a foreign land. She escaped, then made the long and treacherous journey back to her homeland alone. She rose from nothing to become the wife of an Amaranthine warlord. Each day she sang to the gods, asking them to help her people who remained slaves in Devinter. The false gods of the mountains and the winds did not answer her, but the true God did. The Maker spoke. He showed her all the works of his hands, the Fade, the world, and all the creatures therein. He showed her how men had forgotten him, lavished devotions upon mute idols and demons, and how he had left them to their fate. But her voice had reached him and so captivated him that he offered her a place at his side, that she might rule all of creation. But Andraste would not forsaken her people. She begged the Maker to return to save his children from the cruelty of the Imperium. Reluctantly, the Maker agreed to give men another chance. Andraste went back to her homeland, or to her husband, Memarath, and told him all that the Maker had revealed to her. Together they rallied the Amaranthine and marched forth against the mage lords of the Imperium, and then the Maker was with them. The Maker's sword was creation itself, fire and flood, fame and earthquake. Everywhere they went, Andraste sang to the people of the Maker, and they heard her. The ranks of Andraste's followers grew until they were a vast tide washing over the Imperium. And when Mamatra saw the people loved Andraste and not him, a worm grew within his heart and gnawed upon it. At last, the armies of Andraste and Mamatra stood before the gates of the Marathas, but Andraste was not with them, for Maratha had schemed in secret to hand Andraste over to the Devinter. For this, the Archon would give Marath all the lands to the south of the waking sea. And so, before all the armies of Amaranthine and Devinter, Andraste was tied to the stake and burned, while her earthly husband turned his armies aside and did nothing, for his heart had been devoured. But as he watched the pyre, the Archon softened. He took pity on Andraste and drew his sword and granted her mercy, the mercy of a quick death. The Maker wept for his beloved, cursed Manrath, and cursed mankind for their betrayal, and turned once again from the creation, taking only Andraste with him. And Our Lady still sits still at his side, where she still urges him to take pity on his children, from the sermons of Justina II. Alright.
Those Canari are a frightening sort. Demons, the whole lot of them. I do wish the Viscount would have them run.
Prejudice much? Parvalan, the occupied north. In the 30th year of Steel, the first Canari ships were sighted off the coast of Parvalan in the far north, making the beginning of a new age of warfare. History calls the first Canari War, but it was mostly a one-sided bloodbath, with the Canari advancing far into the mainland. Canari warriors in glittering steel armor carved though armies with ease. Their canyons, like of which our ancestors had never seen, reduced city walls to rubble in a matter of seconds. Stories of Canari occupations vary greatly. It is said that they dismantled families and sent captives to learning camps for indoctrination into their religion. Those who refused to cooperate disappeared to the mines or construction camps. For every tale of suffering, however, there is another of enlightenment delivering from something called the Qun. This is either a philosophical code or a written text that governs all aspects of the Canari life. Perhaps both. One converted Sharon reported pity for those who refused to embrace the Queen, as the conquerors had led him to a sort of self-discovery. For all my life I follow the Maker wherever his path leads me, he wrote. But in the Qun I have found the means to travel my own path. It has been said that the most complete way to wipe out a people is not with blades but with books. Thankfully, a world that had repelled 4 blights would not easily bow to foreign aggressor, and so the exile marches began. The greatest advantage of the Chantry-led forces was the Circle of Magi. For all their technology, the Canari appeared to harbor great hatred for magic. Faced with cannons, the Chantry responded with lightning and balls of fire. They didn't. The Magi did. Again, control. The Canari armies lacked the sheer numbers of humanity. So many were slain at Parabel on both sides that the veil is said to be permanently sundered. The ruin still plagues by the restless corpse. But each year the Chantry pushes further and further into the Canari lines. Although local converts to the Qun provide difficult to return to Andraste's teaching, by the end of the Storm Age, the Canari War truly pushed back. Love-Rennie was the only human lands that retained the Canari religion after being freed, and its rulers attempted to barter a peace. Most human lands signed the Lombari Accord, accepting the Deventer Imperium. It is a shaky peace that has lasted to this day. From the exile marches and the excommunication of the Chantry warfare by Sister Patrine, Chantry scholar. Miss Morgie, why are we doing this again? Oh, God, dog. It's hard to record with her or the kids, so I apologize.
How was I to know she was a lady of ill repute? Those eyes, oh Maker, and those legs.
Sounds like you got issues. That's a nice word, one that I can think of. Curious Draken, the king of the city-state of Olay, was a man of uncommon ambition. In the year 15 Agent, the young king became construction of a great temple dedicated to the Maker, and declared that its completion he would not only have united the warring city-states of the south, he would have brought Andrastian beliefs to the world. In -3 Agent, the temple was completed. There there, in its heart, Draken knelt before the eternal frame of Andraste and was crowned ruler of the Empire of Olay, his first act as Empire to declare the Chantry as an established Andrastian religion of the Empire. It took 3 years and several hundred votes before Olyssa of Monastermar was elected to lead the new Chantry. Upon her coronation as divine, she took the name Justinia, in honor of a disciple who recorded Andraste's songs. In the moment, the ancient era ended and the divine age began. From Ferelden Folklore History by Sister Petrine, Chantry Scholar. Okay, and the history of Chantry, Chapter 1. The first blight devastated the Deventer Imperium. Not only had the Darkspawn ravaged the countryside, but the Deventer citizens had to face the fact that their own gods had turned against them. Dumont, the old god, once known as the Dragon of Silence, has risen to silence the world, and despite the frenzied pleas for help, the other old gods did nothing. The people of the Imperium began to question their faith, murdering priests and burning temples to punish their gods for not returning to help. In those days, even after the devastation of the first blight, the Imperium stretched across the known world. Fringed with barbarian tribes, the Imperium was well prepared for invasions and attacks from without. Fitting, then, the story of its downfall begins within. The people of the far northern and eastern reaches of the Imperium rose up against their powerful overlords in rebellion. The Deventer Magisters summoned demons to put down these small rebellions, leaving corpses to burn as an example to all those who dared revolt. The Imperium began to tear itself apart within. Throngs of anger and disillusioned citizens doing what centuries of opposing armies could not. But the Magisters were confident in their power, and they could not imagine surviving a blight only to be destroyed by their own subjects. Even after the blight, the Deventer commander an army larger than any other organized nation in Thedas, but the army was scattered in its moral dwindling. The ruins of Deventer was such that the Amari barbarians who had spread their clans and their holds over the wilderness of Ferelden valleys at the far southern east edges of the Imperium saw weakness in their enemy, and after an age of oppression embarked on a campaign not only to free their own lands but to bring down the mighty Deventer as well. The leader of the Blessed Campaign was the great barbarian warlord Mazrith and his wife Andraste. Their dreams and ambitions would change the world forever. The Tales of the Destruction of Thedas by Brother Gentivi, Chantry Scholar. There's our man again. Alright. Savey. And that should be it for here. The Maker. There was no world for the heaven or for earth, for the sea or sky. All exists with silence. Then the voice of the Maker rang out, the first word, and his word became all that might be. Dreams and idea, hope and fear, endless possibilities, and from it made his firstborn. And he said to them, in my image I forged you. To you I give domination over all exists. By your will may all things be done. Then in the center of heaven he called forth a city with towers of gold, streets with music, cobblestones, and banners in which flew without wind. There he dwindled, waiting to see the wonders his children would create. The children of the Maker gathered before his golden throne and sang hymns of praise unending, but their songs were the songs of cobblestones, that shone with the gold light, reflecting the Maker's throne. They held forth the banners that flew on their own, and the voice of the Maker shook the Fade, saying, "In my image I wrought my firstborn. You've been given dominion over all exists. By your will all things are done, yet you do nothing. The realm I've given you is formless, ever-changing." And he knew he had wrought amiss. So the Maker turned from his firstborn, and took from the Fade a measure of its living flesh, and placed it apart from the spirits, and spoke to it, saying, "Here I decreed opposition in all things, for earth, sky, for winter, summer, for darkness, light. By my will alone is balance sundered, and the world is giving new life." And no longer was it formless, ever-changing, but held fast, immutable, with words of the heaven and for earth, sea, and sky. At last did the Maker from the living world make men, immutable and substance of the earth, with a soul made of dreams and dream and idea, hope and fear, endless possibility. Then the Maker said, "To you, my second-born, I grant this gift. In your heart shall burn an unquenchable flame, all-consuming and never satisfied. From the Fade I craft you, and to the Fade you shall return each night in your dreams, that you may always remember me." And then the Maker sealed the gate of the Golden City, and there he dwelled, waiting to see the wonders his children would create. The Sermons of Divine Renta 1. The weakness of mortal will is the great falling of all the Maker's children. We trade honor as if it were the cheapest of currencies. We do not understand what ingrading is over what is truly worth. From this ignorance, original sin was born. At some time, each of us has thought, what does it matter if I hold my integrity? I am but one mortal, I am powerless. How blind we all are. The virtue of a single slave destroyed the Divinter Imperium. The dishonor of one man drove the Maker from our sight. I tell you truly, nothing but the integrity of our hearts will win over the Maker back to us. It is all power we shall ever possess to change the world for good or for ill. From a sermon of integrity.
I'm sorry you had to witness that disgraceful scene by the Chanter's board. I am Elthina, Grand Cleric of Kirkwall. Sebastian's normally a good lad, but he's had a terrible shock.
Sebastian? Was that his name?
Sebastian Vale. He was affirmed here nearly a decade ago. He had just been invested as a brother when we got the news about his family. I'm afraid he reacted rashly, denied his vows, and left the Chantry. If the Maker wills it, he will return to himself before it's too late.
So he's some kind of priest?
He is an initiate of the faith. As a man, he cannot serve as a mother would, but he has led the chant here many times. Before last week, I would have said he was the most faithful of our true believers.
He said someone murdered his family.
Sebastian is the youngest son of the ruling family of Starkhaven. They were overthrown recently, violently. Sebastian is the only surviving member.
He's royalty.
Prince Sebastian Vale, if he succeeds in his pledge to take back his lands. He made a vow to the Maker to put worldly concerns behind him. It is a sin to forswear himself for a mere title.
I think his family deserves to be avenged.
Sebastian would spend his coin to buy men's lives, the same as those who attacked his family. No matter how justified he feels, that is murder. And when he returns, I will tell him so again.
New codex. Sebastian Vale. In the face of danger, sometimes the bravest thing is to stand back and trust the Maker will see justice done. Sebastian Vale is the only surviving son of the ruling family of Starkhaven, which was murdered in a violent coup d'etat. I'm not sure how to say that. Sebastian cannot forge the irony that he still lives only because his family was so ashamed of his drinking and womanizing that they committed him to the Kirkwall Chantry against his will. After initially rejecting a priest's life, Sebastian was more surprised than anyone when he realized that his show of faith had turned real. Since then, he believes in the Maker, and his plan for Thetis has been unshakable. Embracing his new role, Sebastian took vows of poverty and chastened to become a sworn brother of the Chantry, until word of his family's death forced him to take up worldly concerns once again. Grand Cleric Athena, Sebastian's mentor and friend, hoped to convince him to walk away from the struggles for Starkhaven and return the good works of the Chantry. Okay. I mean, Sebastian is something.
Sorry, I didn't see you there. Sister Alima told me to keep my head up more often.
That's okay. We didn't run into each other, I don't think, unless you ran into my brother. Alright, back here one more time.
She's the one in charge.
Maybe, but I know you get around. This city's full of people who are dead set on ending badly. I don't want to see you end up the same way.
Would asking you to stop spying on me help in the least?
No.
Okay, nothing here.
First the haberdasher, then the grocer.
We got a crate. I'll take that, thank you. I believe we've got one back here. Yipper. Okay. That should be it for Hightown, except for we're gonna make a quick...
Excuse me, Miss Ale.
Excuse you, too. Jaunt to the other side here. Excuse me. No. Ah, Bohan.
Bodan Feddick, purveyor of goods both common and rare, at your service. And this is my son, Sandor, who is as brilliant an enchanter as you'll ever find. Say hello to the nice human, Sandor.
Hello.
Hi.
We shall be accompanying your
You're
expedition and providing the needed supplies. It's all quite exciting, isn't it?
You aren't worried about venturing into such a dangerous place?
Not with such fine protection. But I digress. Do you wish to peruse my wares, or perhaps make use of Sandal's unique talents?
Enchantment?
Just so.
I thought all enchanters were mages.
Not at all. The fabled dwarven resistance to magic has allowed enchantment of crafts for countless ages. Granted, most dwarven smiths must work for many, many years to learn the skill, but my boy is a natural, a savant beyond compare.
Scratch.
I like enchantment.
And he enjoys his work. What more could one ask?
You two don't seem the sort to hire onto this sort of expedition.
My son and I have never played it safe. Never kept to the tried and true roads. In fact, we have just returned from adventures while accompanying the hero of Ferelden, legendary Grey Warden and vanquisher of the Blight.
So you helped to defeat the Blight?
In our small way, perhaps. We did not fight at the Grey Warden's side, of course. Pity how the hero met her end. For such a woman to die as she slew the great archdemon. A tragic, if heroic, tale. But surely my past is hardly of interest to the likes of you.
Yeah, so, again, I only have Alora's playthrough right now saved on there, so the game is going to change what I have planned for the ending, so, we'll just kind of ignore some of the stuff that we haven't done and what this game makes up, because, yeah, like I said, it's gonna make up certain things or just do some defaults, so.
I don't need anything right now.
I look forward to our voyage together.
Me too. Okay. Aveline, did I equip you with anything? No. Aveline? Aveline? Okay. I don't think we have anything. Nope. Okay. Alright, off we go.
I should take a trip to the country.
Nothing. The Bloomin' Rose, people!
For a client of the Rose, thank you.
Oh, but I'm taking you in there.
Interesting place.
Let's not stay here for long.
Okay.
Madame Lucine runs the place for Harlan. Or with him. Or on him. It's a coterie thing.
Much that man pays, I'm not rubbing Hubert's feet again until he pays.
Ugh. Yes, I agree. I know there's crates. I know there's baskets. Chest. Thank you. The sounds in this place is great.
I've got your usual ready and waiting for you upstairs, Sarah.
Many thanks, Madame Lucine.
Damn
I
lad.
won't mention this to your mother if you don't.
Don't threaten my boy, you skinny hag. I'll have you sacked.
Madam doesn't give a rat's ass about your brat. She pays me a copper every time I kick the little bastard.
Oh.
I'm surprised you still travel with this, Aveline.
Carver, don't.
You're ever so busy with the guardsmen. It must be a burden to slum with the refugees.
It's oddly comforting that you insult me like I'm family.
That wasn't... No, I didn't mean that.
I know. But you should be glad that's how I took it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that.
Let's be very glad that's how she took it. I love mods. Thank you for that. Okay. And another one. Okay, codex here. The Anderfels are the lands of shocking extremes. It is the most desolated place all the world, for two blights have left great expenses over the steppes so completely devoid of life that the corpses cannot even decay there. No insects or grubs will ever reach them. It is a land filled with wonders like the Meridian, with its giant white statues of Our Lady carved into its face, her hands outstretched and bearing an eternal flame. Or Weishaupt Fortress, with its walls of living rock towering over the desolated plains below. Oh, excuse me, I had a hiccup. The Anders, too, are people of extremes. The most devout priests and the most deadly soldiers, the poorest nation in the world and the most feared. From the Pursuit of Knowledge, Travels of a Chantry Scholar by Jenna TV.
Ask you to wear a feather.
The city of Starkhaven. Starkhaven, the largest city in the Free Marches, sits on a bank of the Great Minotaur River. I remember my visit to the city quite clearly. I was taken upon the river by barge, a cumbersome vessel that moved a stately pace, and embarked by city's central square, an impressive space with marble fountains and surrounded by kingly estates. Starkhaven's wealth was truly a sight to behold. A path paved in granite led up to the greatest buildings I ever seen. My guide indicated that this is the residence of the Starkhaven's rulers, Prince Vale. We suppled at the table of my guide's closest friend. I presented with a variety of dishes from the region. One in particular stood out: fish and egg pie. Starkhaven's most famous dish. 3 deboned fish caught just that day were cooked in a porcelain vessel with boiled eggs, dried fruit, spices, and thick cream, all topped with a light crust. Superb. In the Pursuit of Knowledge, The Travels of Chantry Scholar by Brother Janet TV. We know we're reading not too many codexes when I'm starting to blamble more than what I normally do. Oh my god, Morgie. She was just laying by me until she randomly got up to randomly bark. Okay, no boxes here, just people standing. And same here. Alright, out we go. That was the noise. Back to Lowtown, people.
Do you do anything?
Am I the next stop in your career evaluations? Joy of joys.
Joys of joys.
You watch and you talk. Is that it?
You are dismissing hallmarks of both the utterly ineffectual and incredibly dangerous.
I don't know what you mean.
It means coins flow when I talk and when I shut up. Like if you got paid to guard or unguard.
That makes no sense.
Good.
My. If it isn't Hawk. Good to see you again, Elegant. Lady Elegant, if you don't mind. I'm a married woman now. Last time we met, you were still in Athenral's employ. Things have been going well since then? Could be better. Could be worse. I often feel the same way. You may recall I sometimes provided potions for Athenral. I'd be willing to extend you the same courtesy if you like.
Yes, please.
All I ask is you inform me of any interesting reagents you find. In exchange, I'll approach my contacts on your behalf. And of course you'll need the appropriate recipes, such as this one. Free, for old time's sake.
Thank you.
I believe you lost this somewhere.
You have done a great kindness in returning this.
You're welcome. Let's see what you got. Nothing. Kirkwall's Lowtown. Lowtown sits in the massive cone-shaped pit that was once Kirkwall's first quarry. The district was constructed by slaves who carved the city and its harbor out of rock. Today, Lowtown is a labyrinth of shady towns, corridors, and hexagonal courtyards. Hexes in the local parents. Lowtown's poorest live in caves hewed out of the cliff face. The district is shoddy built and bears scars of the collapsing walls. Foundry smoke smothers the area. Only a cold winter storm clears the air, but the icy wind hollow over the mouths of the old mine shafts hardly count as relief. Occasionally, these dark town shafts erupts with gulp of foul air known as choke damp. It is not uncommon to find the whole slum silently suffocated, frozen in the midst of everyday activity. The walls surrounding Lowtown are the highest but by the harbor. Its busiest streets lead up to Hightown, where the wealthiest Kirkwall perch. When one stands in Lowtown, all one sees, other than the rocky walls, is Hightown, is glittering overhead, always in sight, yet always beyond reach. In the pursuit of knowledge, travels of Chantry scholar Brother Chantry. Badly copied leaflet. Take back our streets. Ferelden refugees, Kronori soldiers, who next? To venture slavers snatch children out of their beds? This ends now. Send a message that the Kirkwallers will not accept this. We must band together to deliver foreign waste from our doorstep. Reclaim the free marches for the marchers. If you care about our future, join Friends of Kirkwall. Reclaim our city. Backpack. Thank you. Great. And hello, sir.
I think you let this get away from you.
You just stumbled on this? Can't say I'm surprised. Bloody fools.
Okay. Another stop. I think that's it, huh? Go around the circles here. Sounds good. Okay.
The Maker watches over the meek and the wicked alike.
Mm-hmm.
Quality arms. The best outside of Orzammar.
Alright. I don't think there's anything here. Not a word from you guys, huh? Normally, sometimes you go in there and they have something to say. Nothing here. Spinwheel. Spindleweed. It is old country saying that spindleweed grows best for the sorrowful. Vacant spindleweed in a household's garden often brought neighbors offering consolation, usually without even asking what might be wrong. This originates from the plant's use as a seasoning for dishes meant to speed the recovery of infirm. A person who grows much of it is likely caring for the fatal ill. Excerpt from the Botanicals Compendium by Ines Ardicated Botans. Okay. Pretty sure we read all these. Okay. Okay. I probably should search that before I say mark all read, huh? Anyway. It's habit for me to do that, so if I do that, I do that, I guess. But we'll try doing as much as we can with the codexes. Kirkwall, the Elven alienage. Lowtown is a home to squalid Elven alienage. Here, like most in Thetis alienages, elves are packed into a tiny round-down apartments and effectively segregated from the human population. Kirkwall's alienage is even more dislippid than the rest of Lowtown, but elves go to great lengths to keep the place looking bright and festive. The Vanadal, the tree of the people, standing in the middle of the alienage, is a symbol for elven pride and its shared culture identity and its loving care for. It is difficult to say if the elves would continue confining themselves to alienages if they were given the chance to mingle. They may not admit it, but some feel that living among their kind is far better than living with humans, no matter how terrible the alien life may be. From In Pursuit of Knowledge, the Travels of Chantry Scholar, Brother Janativi. City of Elves. When the wholly exalted marches of the Dales resulted in the dissolution of the Elven kingdom, leaving a great many elves homeless once again, the divine Renta I declared that all lands loyal to the Chantry must be given the elves refugees within their own walls. Considering atrocities committed by the elves at the Red Crossing. This was a great testament to the Chantry's charity. There was one condition, however: the elves were to lay aside their pagan gods, and live under the rule of the Chantry. Some of the elves refused our goodwill. They banded together to form the wandering Dalish elves, keeping to their old elven ways and their hatred of humans alive. To this day, Dalish elves seem terrorized those of us who stray too close to their camps. Most of the elves, however, saw that it was the wisest to live under the protection of humans. And so we took the elves into our city and tried to integrate them. We invited them into our own homes and gave them jobs as servants and farmhands. Here in Denerim, the elves even have their own quarry, governed by an elven keeper. Most have proven to be productive members of society. Still, a small segment of the elven community remains dissatisfied. These troublemakers and Malcolm roams the street causing mayhem, rebelling against authority and making a general nuisance of themselves. From Ferelden, Folklore and History by Sister Bertrine, Chantry Scholar. I think we're good. Okay. Excuse me. There it is. Alienage culture. There have always been alienages. They have been around for as long as elves and shems have lived in the same lands. Ours isn't even the worst. They say that Valero has 10,000 elves living in a space no bigger than Denron's Market. Their walls are supposedly so high that the daylight doesn't reach the Valhall until midday. But don't be so anxious to start tearing down the walls and picking fights with guards. They keep out more than they keep in. We don't have to live here, you know. Sometimes a family gets a good break and they buy a house in the docks or outskirts of town. If they're lucky, they come back to the alienage after the looters have burned their houses down. The unlucky ones just go to the proper fields. Here we're among family. We look out for each other. Here we do what we can to remember the old ways. The flat ears who have gone out there, they're stuck. They'll never be human, and they're gone and thrown away being elven too. So where does that leave them? Nowhere. Shartinia, Haran of High Ever Alienage. Making sure here. We don't have items. I don't know why I keep doing that. Okay, we already read that. Okay. Alright. So we're getting close to being done with this episode. I know there's a lot of codexes, a lot of running around, but we're just getting a handle on the area. Okay.
Make it.
The hangman. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to...
You heard about that hero of Ferelden?
Yes. Why?
What makes a hero, eh? I bet I could kill an archdemon.
I bet you couldn't. I'll bet you a dozen ale.
Ravanian. Nowhere in my travels, not into the heart of the Imperium nor the streets of Orzammar, have I felt so much of an outsider as in Ravani. The chanted light never truly reached the ears of these people. The years they spent under the thumb of the Cornari left most of the country zealous followers of the Qun. But resistance to the chant goes deeper than the Cornari War. The Ravani refused to be parted from their seers. Wise women who are in fact head mages communicating with spirits and actually allowing themselves to become possessed. The Chantry prohibits against such magical practices, violates millennia of local tradition. From Pursuit of Knowledge, Travels of the Chantry Scholar by Brother Janativi.
What? Well, now I'm gonna show you.
Now you're gonna show me. You need Archdemon to show. Hate to break it to you. Alright, no codex in here. We're gonna...
What do you do, Athlete?
You know. Why are you asking?
I mean in your off-duty hours, for fun.
For
You've
fun?
heard, I hope.
These are.
The trend of you scaring the piss out of me continues.
Okay. History of Kirkwall, Chapter 1. It's difficult for many to comprehend today, but there was a time when Kirkwall was believed to be the very edge of the world. In It was Imerus then, named after the foundry Magister Imerus Cavain, and it was but one outpost on the very fringe of the Winter Imperium. There the Magisters serfs worked the Canaries for the jetstone needed for their mighty temples of Marathis. After a slave rebellion nearly burned the temple to the ground in the great city, it was determined that a center for the slave trade would need to be established well away from the more civilized part of the Imperium. Though this account may be exaggerated, since the notorious Archon Venenus Azar narrowly escaped assassination at the hand of an elven slave at the time. Because the new slaves' outposts would become wealthy beyond imagination. Compensating among prospects reportedly took over 20 years to resolve, resulting in great bloodshed in the frontier, well away from the Archon's eyes. Magister took arms against Magister, mostly in the form of a small armies of serfs and mercenaries. Over half the slaves in existence alleged died in these battles before Eris was finally chosen, thanks to a marriage of Kernus' son to the Archon's daughter. Within mere decades, the mighty fortress was eradicated on the cliff where Kirkwall now stands. Over 1 million slaves passed through its gates before the Imperium eventually fell, an unimaginable number by today's standard. The Caravan's family itself became patrons of the next 3 Archons and was one of the driving forces behind the extension of the Imperial Highway into Ferelden's Valley, a move that would cost them considerable political influence and the resistance of the Amaranthine tribes. During its height, Emerus was a jewel to rival the mightiest of the Imperial cities and the greatest center of civilization outside of Deventer. From Kirkwall, the City of Chains by Brother Gen TV 924 Dragon. Alright, Maleficarum. It has been asked, what are Maleficarum? How shall we know them? I have been troubled by this question as you have come to me for the wisdom of the Maker, but none has seen the Maker's heart save beloved Andraste. And so I have done all the mortals must, and look to the word of his prophet for answers. And there I found despite from a troubled mind. For she had said to us, magic exists to serve man and never rule over him. Therefore I say to you, they who work magic which dominates the minds and the hearts of others, they have transgressed the Maker's law. Also, Our Lady said to us, those who bring harm without provocation to the least of his children are hated and cursed by the Maker. And so it is made clear to me, as it should to all, the magic which fuels itself by harming others by letting of blood is hated by the Maker. Those mages who honored the Maker and his law we welcome as our brothers and sisters. Those who reject the law of the Maker and the world of his prophet are apostates. They shall be cast out and given no place among us. From the sermons of Justina first. Okay, a couple more here. Oh, all right, let's go ahead and walk into Barrick's place here, and in the next episode we'll talk to Barrick. Hope you guys had a good one. See you in Inquisition. Bye now.